Hey, so you created your Express Entry profile and you get a message from CIC saying your profile is ineligible and you're like shocked. What happened? What did you do wrong? We're going to answer this question today. This is Ask Kubeir channel. I'm Kubeir. I welcome you to this channel. Subscribe to this channel because there's a lot of good content that we keep posting here so that it helps you in your Canadian PR application. Click on the bell icon so you get notifications for it. And I'm going to answer this question in a bit. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. So your Express Entry profile that you created after taking so much of an effort, of course, is now rendered ineligible. And you created it again and it's ineligible again. And you created it again and it's ineligible again. And you're scratching your head now, very upset, very irritated as to why is it happening. Yeah, trust me, it happens with a lot of people. First of all, you cannot delete the ineligible profile from your GCKey account. It will stay there and don't worry about it. It's all right. When you create your new Express Entry profile, and I will tell you where the areas where it could be going wrong is, you don't have to mention yes if the question is, have you applied to IRCC before? Creating an Express Entry profile is not applying to IRCC. By creating an Express Entry profile, you just enter the Express Entry pool. Only when you get your ITA and you submit your application have you applied to IRCC. So unless you have applied to IRCC earlier for a visit visa or a study permit or a work permit or for any other transaction you might have had with IRCC, you need not mention it as yes, you will mention it as no, you haven't applied before with IRCC. That's the first one. Don't worry about creating another GCKey. You can use the same GCKey account and create another Express Entry profile. The main areas or the main reasons why a profile becomes ineligible are these. So let's first go over the primary checkpoints for Express Entry profile. The first one obviously is, have you scored 67 points or more on the 100-point grid for your minimum eligibility criteria? The link, the IRCC link, has been posted below in the description field of this video. First thing you need to do is obviously check if you are eligible based on this grid. There are 6 different selection factors. So please go over to that link and check if you do score 67 points or more. If you don't, then you obviously need to improve on any of those factors to see how you can cross over the 67 points barrier. The next one is to ensure that your ECA could be, or rather is issued by any of the 7 accredited agencies, stands for Education Credential Assessment, and it must be valid when you create your Express Entry profile. The validity period for ECA is 5 years from the date of issue. So please make sure your ECA is valid when you are creating your Express Entry profile. The next one obviously is your language skills test report. Since you are assessed or you do get points on your minimum eligibility criteria as well as on CRS for your language skills, you have to ensure that it is valid when you're creating your Express Entry profile. The validity period is 2 years from the date of the test, so please make sure that is valid. And the very important one is that your work experience should be valid and it should be within the last 10 years period. But when I say it should be valid, means it should be skill type 0A or B. I'm going to talk about it in a bit. But yes, your work experience period has to be within the last 10 years period. And these are the primary checkpoints. Let's get into some others in more detail. You have chosen wrong NOC code. And when I'm saying wrong, I mean skill type 0, A or B are eligible for Express Entry. Skill types C and D are not eligible for Express Entry. So please check your NOC code again to see if it is of skill type 0, A or B. Check your NOC, check your occupation, make sure that this is taken care of, that it remains, or rather it is 0, A or B. Second thing is that your work period is not 12 months continuous. Okay, if you're applying as a federal skilled worker, your work experience must be continuous. You must have at least 12 months of work experience. It's extremely important. So make sure you are eligible under that factor. The third one is proof of funds. You will be asked a question as to how much money are you going to be bringing to Canada. As of now, they give you a range. So currently they give you a range of 12,475 to 15,000 something. And that's for a family of one. If you're a family of two, then it will be more than 15,000. If you're a family of three, it will be 19,000 plus. This is as per proof of funds requirement of 2018. In 2019, this proof of fund will increase, or would have already increased by now because I'm making this video a bit earlier, and it would increase by 2% more than what the proof of fund was in 2018. So make sure the amount of money that you mention in your application is equal to or more than the required amount that you need for your application size. So if you're a single applicant, please mention more than 12,475 because 12,475 as of today in 2019 will not let you be eligible. Okay, so make sure you have enough proof of funds or enough, you mentioned enough amount of money to show for your proof of funds. Okay, and most importantly, the last factor that I'm going to talk about is your working hours. Okay, so when you are completing your Express Entry profile and you mention your work experience, it will ask you how many hours did you work in the particular job that you're talking about. A lot of times people get confused because it asks for number of hours per week, but a lot of our countries that we come from, we are more used to talking about per day. So we mention it as 8 hours per day or 10 hours per day or 9 hours per day or 11 hours per day. The minute you mention that, it will make your application ineligible because in totality you wouldn't have completed your required period of work experience. So make sure you are looking at the work experience period, or sorry, you're looking at your working hours in that particular field. Mention it as anything over 30 if that is how it applies to you, because full-time work experience is 30 plus hours. If it's part-time, it could be anything between less than 30, and you have to have the equivalent period of work which will equal to at least 1 year of work experience. So please pay attention to that. Make sure your number of hours per week is mentioned correctly and not as per day. If you've taken care of all these things, you will realize that your application or your profile will no longer be ineligible. It will actually go through pretty quickly, pretty easily, pretty smoothly, and you won't have an issue. It will not be ineligible anymore because there is no other reason for it to be ineligible. I hope I was able to help you today. Keep checking our channels, keep checking our Facebook groups, keep checking our Instagram posts, keep checking our Twitter feed, and you will get much more information. We're always here to answer your questions and help you. Stay tuned.